Imagine tomorrow. The world hits reset. Every dollar divided equally among 8 billion people. Sounds fair, right? But here's the truth. Within a few years, all the money would be right back in the same hands as before. Why? It's not budgeting, or saving, or investing. Those help, but they're not the reason. It's something deeper, invisible, unseen. Something the world's richest people know and hope you never discover. Money is a spiritual game, and if you don't learn the rules, you'll keep losing. People love the word spiritual. It's everywhere. Yoga mats, meditation apps, hashtags on Instagram. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Spiritual doesn't mean holy or good. There's plenty of darkness that's spiritual. Wars have been fought in the name of spiritual truths. Millions manipulated by unseen forces cloaked as faith. Entire kingdoms rose and fell over who claimed to speak for God. Because spiritual doesn't mean righteous, it means unseen. And that's where the real power always hides. See, we live in a world obsessed with what's visible. How much cash in your wallet, what car you drive, your bank balance on the screen, but the ultra-rich. They play a different game, a hidden game. They know money isn't physical. It's not paper, not metal coins, not numbers on a screen. Money is energy. Think about it. Matter looks solid, but physics proved it's not. Atoms? 99.999% empty space. Particles? Just vibrating waves of potential. And those waves are pure consciousness. And consciousness is energy. So the world around you, the cars, the skyscrapers, the stacks of cash, it's all just condensed energy. The Bible said it thousands of years ago. For by him all things were created, in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible. Colossians 1:16. But here's the question. If money is energy, who controls it? That's where it gets sinister. Because while the masses obsess over dollars and cents, the elites have always focused on energy, secret societies, ancient teachings hidden in vaults, financial systems built not on fairness, but on power. They know something the average person doesn't. If you control energy, you control money. And if you control money, you control the world. Religions may argue over God's name, but every faith agrees on this. God created everything. Every molecule, every frequency, every stream of energy. The Hermetic Principle of polarity says everything has two sides, light and darkness, good and evil, abundance and lack. So if money is energy, then it's part of the God force. That means money is neither evil nor holy. It's neutral, a tool, a force waiting to be directed by whoever has the strongest will. But here's the trap. For centuries, you've been programmed to think money is dirty, or evil, or reserved for the lucky few. Meanwhile, the powerful have been studying how energy shapes reality, because they know the ultimate secret. Reality bends to consciousness, and consciousness is energy. Look around nature. Trees produce fruit far beyond what any creature could eat. Rivers overflow. The sun burns with more energy in a second than humanity could use in 1,000 years. That's abundance. That's the true nature of creation. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Psalm 24:1. And here's what they desperately don't want you to believe. You carry the same divine spark as creation itself. You're not meant to scrape by. Abundance is your birthright. But as long as you think money is just paper, as long as you fear wealth, as long as you stay trapped in guilt and shame, the system wins. Because the system doesn't just tax your income, it taxes your mind. So here's the question the elites hope you'll never ask. If money is energy, and energy flows where intention goes, whose intention are you living out right now? Yours or theirs? Because money is spiritual, and if you don't learn how to command that energy, you'll spend your life working for those who do. So here's the question no one wants you to ask. What actually is money? Is it paper? Is it coins? Is it numbers on a screen? Sure, those are the forms money takes. But that's just the costume, a clever disguise to keep you blind to the real game. Because here's the forbidden truth. Money is not paper, or metal, or digital code. Those things are illusions, stage props in a global magic trick. A trick designed to keep you obedient and small. Let me tell you how the trick works. Once upon a time, money was gold and silver, heavy, tangible, valuable. But carrying coins wasn't convenient, so banks offered paper receipts instead. Those pieces of paper said, "This note can be exchanged for gold." People trusted those notes. Until one day, governments quietly erased the fine print. Gold was gone. All that was left was paper. Worthless, unless people believed in it. And that's the key word. Belief. See, money only has power because we agree it does. You believe your paycheck has value. You believe a $100 bill buys groceries. You believe numbers in a bank account mean security. But those are all stories, shared hallucinations, mass hypnosis. And here's the sinister part. The same people who print the money also print the narrative about what money is worth. Central banks, politicians, media giants, they decide who gets cheap loans, who goes bankrupt, what industries rise, which ones die. They don't just manage money, they manage your beliefs. Because the elites know one thing the masses don't. Control the narrative, and you control the flow of money. On the surface, money looks physical. Paper, coins, digital screens. But underneath, money is energy. Think about it. Why does cash feel powerful in your hands? Why does your heart race when your bank account drops too low? Why does the idea of being rich make some people feel guilty and others feel unstoppable? Because money is emotional, and emotion is energy. Every dollar carries an energetic charge, a vibration, a frequency. And here's the truth they've hidden for centuries. Every exchange of money is an exchange of energy. When you buy food, you're not buying calories. You're buying a feeling of safety. When you buy a phone, you're buying connection. When you buy a luxury car, you're buying status. It's all feelings. And feelings are vibrations. They exist on invisible frequencies. So the real secret is this. It's not about money. It's about energy. That's why we call it currency. Current means flow. Water flows, electricity flows, air flows. And so does money. We store money in banks, like rivers gather in riverbanks. We say, let's make it rain. Swimming in cash, drowning in debt. Even our language exposes the truth. Money has always been about energy flowing. But here's the dark twist. While the masses hustle for dollars, the elites have been studying how to manipulate energy. They've turned money into a tool of spiritual warfare. Because whoever controls your emotions controls your wallet. And whoever controls your wallet controls your future. So ask yourself, who benefits from me thinking money is just paper? Because as long as you believe money is physical, you'll never realize the real game. Money is spiritual energy, and whoever masters that energy rules the world. Here's the part they really don't want you to understand. Money isn't just an external game, it's an inner one. Think about this. Why is it called income? because it comes in from within. The outside world you see, the dollars in your bank account, the opportunities in front of you, the debts chasing you, all of it is just a reflection, a mirror showing you what's happening inside your mind. As he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Every dollar you have, every crisis you've faced, every stroke of luck you've celebrated, they're all shadows cast by your subconscious beliefs. And here's the sinister part. The system doesn't just trap you in financial slavery, it traps you in mental slavery. They teach you that money problems are out there. Your job doesn't pay enough. The economy's crashing. Inflation is rising. The rich are getting richer. And sure, those things exist, but those are the effects, not the cause. Trying to fix your money purely by budgeting, saving, or investing is like trying to change your reflection by wiping the mirror. You can clean the glass for years, but the image staring back at you stays the same. Because effects can't change effects. The real cause lives inside your mind, in your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotional patterns, and the elites know it. That's why they spend billions on advertising to hijack your desires, news headlines to program your fears, entertainment to shape your beliefs. They know that if they control how you feel, they'll control where your money flows. The greatest prison people live in is the fear of what others think. David Icke. It's not just about dollars and cents, it's about identity. The rich think differently because they feel differently. They walk into a room with certainty. They believe money flows to them. They believe they're worthy of abundance. Meanwhile, the masses live under invisible chains. Guilt for wanting wealth, shame for standing out, fear of losing love if they succeed. Here's the bitter truth. The system doesn't just tax your income, it taxes your self-worth. Because if you believe you're unworthy, you'll sabotage yourself every time money tries to find you. And so you stay stuck, hustling harder, saving pennies, chasing side hustles, hoping for a raise. All while missing the real game happening inside you. Because money isn't paper. It's not numbers on a screen. It's energy. And the generator of that energy is your mind. So ask yourself, whose beliefs am I living out right now? Mine or theirs? Because until you change what's happening inside, nothing outside will ever change. Money is an inner game, and the sooner you learn to play it, the sooner you'll realize abundance was waiting for you all along. Here's the part nobody tells you. Money isn't really about money, it's about you. From the day you're born, the system trains you to look outside yourself for answers. Work harder, save more, hustle till you drop. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The real game is happening inside your mind. Why do you think it's called income? Because it comes in, from within. Everything you see around you, the zeros in your bank account, the bills piling up, the opportunities or the obstacles, they're all just a mirror, reflecting what's happening in the hidden corridors of your subconscious. As he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Every financial win, every devastating loss, every dollar that flows into or out of your life, they're shadows cast by your beliefs. But here's the dangerous part. The system doesn't want you to know this. Instead, they teach you that money problems come from the outside, the economy, the government, your boss, Wall Street. So you keep chasing external fixes, budgeting, hustling, grinding, trying desperately to patch the holes in your financial ship. But it's like trying to fix your reflection by cleaning the mirror, it doesn't work. Because the world you see outside is just a printout of the code running inside your mind. And if you don't change the code, nothing changes. That's why two people can live in the same city with the same opportunities and end up worlds apart financially. One drowns in debt, the other becomes a millionaire. It's not just luck, it's consciousness. Here's how the elites keep you trapped. They don't just tax your paycheck, they tax your beliefs. Ads tell you you're not good enough until you buy more. Headlines pump fear so you feel unsafe, and spend to feel better. Movies show the rich as villains, so you feel guilty for wanting more. Because if they control how you feel, they control where your money flows. The real prison isn't financial, it's psychological. Ever wonder why some lottery winners end up broke again? Because their external wealth exploded, while their internal wealth stayed empty. Their subconscious couldn't handle the voltage, so the money disappeared. To whom much is given, much will be required. Luke 12:48. Here's the brutal truth. Your financial thermostat is set by your self-image. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, life will make sure you keep struggling. If you see yourself as someone who deserves abundance, doors will open where there were once walls, because money isn't paper, or metal, or digital code. It's energy, and the conductor of that energy is you. So the real question is, whose beliefs are you living by right now? Yours or theirs? Until you change the beliefs inside you, nothing will change outside you. Money is an inner game, and once you master it, you'll realize abundance was yours all along. Here's the truth nobody wants to admit. Most people only see money one way, as survival. Ask almost anyone, "What's money for?" And they'll say, "To pay the bills, to keep the lights on, to make sure my kids eat, to keep a roof over my head." Money becomes oxygen, a lifeline, a ticking clock always counting down to the next financial emergency. It becomes the invisible chain around your neck, tugging you back every time you try to breathe. And that's exactly where the system wants you, trapped in your reptilian brain. The reptilian brain is ancient, primitive. It doesn't care about dreams, or creativity, or abundance. It only cares about one thing: survival, food, shelter, safety. That's all it knows. Because when you're stuck in survival mode, you're easy to control. You'll say yes to soul-crushing jobs. You'll stay silent when you should speak up. You'll accept crumbs instead of demanding the feast. That's why every headline screams, "Recession coming," layoffs everywhere, skyrocketing prices. The rich are hoarding everything. Because fear is the ultimate currency. Here's the sinister trick. If you're afraid enough, you'll hand over your freedom, just for a moment of security. And that's the game. Whatever you believe money is, becomes your reality. Because centuries ago, the church and the ruling class discovered a brilliant secret. If you convince people that poverty is holy, they'll stay poor willingly. Meanwhile, kings built golden palaces. Popes wore robes encrusted with jewels. Priests lived in abundance, while preaching that the poor were closest to God. It was the perfect system. Keep the masses obedient. Keep wealth concentrated. Hide the truth that abundance is divine. But let's be clear, there's nothing holy about being poor. Poverty does not bring you closer to God. It doesn't make you purer. It doesn't make you spiritually superior. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health. 3. John 1:2. God never intended his children to live in lack. Because lack is not the language of creation. Look at nature. Trees overflowing with fruit, oceans brimming with fish, stars burning with more energy than humanity could ever use. The universe screams one word: abundance. So here's the real conspiracy, convincing you that wanting more is evil, because if you stop wanting more, you stop reaching higher. And that's how they keep the world divided into rulers and ruled. Who benefits when you believe poverty is holy? Not you, not your family, not your community, only the elites. Because every time you believe wealth is sinful, you surrender your power and keep the system intact. So here's the challenge. Are your beliefs yours, or were they programmed into you? Because the harsh reality is this: false money beliefs are the blueprint of poverty. Until you rewrite them, nothing changes. But the moment you do, everything changes. Your reality shifts, your frequency rises, and abundance starts to find its way to you. Because money doesn't care about your guilt, or your fear, or your old beliefs. Money flows where belief allows it to go. So the real question is, what do you believe you deserve? Because the answer to that is your true net worth. Let me reveal the sneakiest weapon the system uses to keep you broke. It's not taxes, it's not inflation, it's not even fear, it's love. Sounds insane, right? But stay with me, because love has been weaponized. From the moment we're born, we crave two things above all: safety, belonging. As kids, our biggest fear wasn't hunger. It wasn't the cold. It was rejection. Being cast out from the tribe was once a death sentence. Our nervous system remembers. That primal terror still fires in our veins whenever we sense we might stand out or rise above the pack. And the system knows this. They've spent centuries perfecting how to keep you obedient. It's called the social contract. No one hands you a piece of paper. No one makes you sign it. But it's there, woven into every family, every friendship, every neighborhood. Don't talk too much about your wins. Don't make people feel bad. Stay humble. Don't think you're better than anyone else. So you keep your dreams quiet. You hide your ambitions. You downplay your success so your friends don't feel left behind. Because you're terrified that if you shine too brightly, you'll lose love. That's why people keep themselves small. Not because they want to, but because they're terrified of what success might cost them. Here's how it plays out. You start earning more. Friends call you a sellout. You drive a nicer car. Family says you've changed. You talk about big dreams. People tell you to be realistic. And slowly, piece by piece, you shrink. You bury your gifts. You bury your light. You bury your destiny. All to keep one thing: approval. Here's the genius of the system. They don't have to chain you physically. They just have to make you afraid of standing alone. Because if you're terrified of being different, you'll stay locked in the same frequency as everyone else. You'll make just enough to get by. You'll never talk about abundance. You'll settle for crumbs instead of demanding the feast. Because elevation is social suicide. Most people want more money, but deep down, they're afraid of what more money might cost them. Losing friends, family gossip, being judged, being envied, so they sabotage themselves, not consciously, but quietly, invisibly, from the inside out. Because to be wealthy means to be different, and different feels dangerous. But here's the truth. No one tells you. The price of abundance is standing alone. People will call you arrogant, selfish, materialistic. But let me ask you this. Would you rather be broke and loved, or abundant and free? Because the system wants you poor and polite, quiet and compliant, dreamless and manageable. Here's the ultimate test. Can you stand in your truth, even if it costs you belonging? Because until you're willing to pay that price, you'll stay stuck in the same frequency as everyone else. But the moment you break the social contract, you step into your true power. The whispers will start. Who does he think he is? She's so full of herself. They've changed. Let them whisper. Because the same people who criticize you today will one day ask you for help or beg you for advice. So here's the real choice. Will you shrink to keep everyone comfortable? Or will you rise and make them uncomfortable? Because one path leads to mediocrity, the other leads to abundance. And the question you have to ask yourself is, which one am I willing to pay for? The cost of abundance is the courage to stand alone. Here's a brutal truth that shatters most people. You can never hold more money outside than you hold inside. People think wealth is about hustle, about grinding longer hours, about getting that lucky break. But look around. Why do some people make millions only to lose it all? Why do lottery winners file for bankruptcy faster than the ink dries on their giant checks? Because here's the secret. Your outer bank account will never exceed your inner bank account. Let me tell you a story. A man wins $10 million in the lottery. He buys cars, a mansion, gives money away to friends. He thinks his life has finally begun. 2 years later, he's broke. More broke than before he won. Why? Because while his outer world exploded in abundance, his inner world stayed empty. His subconscious couldn't handle the voltage. So he found a way to get rid of the money, to return to the level of wealth he felt he deserved. It wasn't the money that ruined him. It was the gap between who he was inside and what he was holding outside. To whom much is given, much will be required. Luke 12:48. Here's the terrifying reality. If you suddenly received $1 million tomorrow, would your subconscious know how to keep it? Or would it silently find ways to make it disappear? Because your subconscious always demands one thing: consistency. If your self-image screams, "I'm broke," you'll sabotage yourself every time money tries to stay. You'll make bad investments. You'll overspend. You'll attract chaos. You'll unconsciously push abundance away. Because abundance feels unsafe. If it's bigger than your inner bank account, your real net worth isn't written in dollars. It's written in your mind. Abundance isn't about numbers. It's a feeling, a deep knowing. I'm safe. I'm secure. I'm worthy of wealth. When you cultivate that inner wealth, everything outside starts shifting. Opportunities appear out of nowhere. People want to collaborate. Money flows without you chasing it. Because the universe mirrors who you are, not what you wish for. Here's the trap most people fall into. They try to manifest wealth while carrying poverty inside. They speak affirmations in the morning, but all day they feel anxious, guilty, unworthy. I am abundant. But inside, a voice whispers, "Who are you kidding? You're not that person." And the subconscious always wins. So here's the real work. Before you can hold abundance, you have to expand your inner bank account. Because if your inner balance is small, your outer balance will eventually shrink to match it. Abundance isn't about luck. It's about alignment. Alignment between who you believe you are and the life you're trying to create. So here's the question no one asks. Do I feel safe with wealth? Or do I secretly fear it? Because until you raise your inner bank account, Nothing outside will ever change. Money is energy, and the first place it deposits is in your mind. We've peeled back layer after layer of secrets. But if you remember only one thing from everything I've shared, let it be this: self-worth is the ceiling of your wealth. People think money is about hustle, luck, connections, strategy. And yes, those things play a role. But underneath it all, self-worth is the hidden vault that locks or unlocks abundance. Here's why. Your subconscious mind is like a thermostat. Set too low, and every time you try to rise, it drags you back down. That's why no amount of hustle can save you if your self-worth whispers, "I don't deserve it." It's why affirmations fail. It's why vision boards gather dust. It's why people can read 100 money books and still stay broke. Because it's not about what you say you deserve. It's about what you feel you deserve. Let me tell you a story. A woman grows up hearing, "Money changes people. Rich people are selfish. Don't ask for too much." She becomes successful, earns 6 figures, gets a promotion, but every time she looks at her bank account, a wave of guilt washes over her. So she finds ways to get rid of it. Loans money to friends who never pay it back. Overspends on gifts to prove she's still humble. Feels anxious whenever her savings grow. On the outside, she's thriving. On the inside, she's drowning. Why? Because her self-worth thermostat is set too low. So the money disappears. Because deep down, she doesn't feel safe holding it. And the universe always matches who you believe you are. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139, verse 14. You are a spark of the infinite, a creation of God. It's audacious to believe you deserve anything less than your highest potential. But most people do. They want more money, but deep down, they don't feel worthy of it, so they sabotage it. Quietly, invisibly, from the inside out. And the system loves this, because people who feel unworthy don't ask for raises, don't start businesses, don't stand up for themselves. They stay small, polite, and manageable. Here's the real conspiracy. Convince the masses they're unworthy, and they'll never claim abundance. But hear me, God doesn't create junk. God doesn't create mediocrity. Now unto him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think. Ephesians 3:20. You were designed for abundance. It's your birthright, but it will never manifest until your self-worth rises to meet it. Here's the ultimate question. When you close your eyes, do you see yourself as wealthy, or do you feel like an imposter? Because that feeling is the gatekeeper of your entire reality. So before you chase the next strategy, the next side hustle, the next investment tip, start here. Raise your self-worth, because self-worth is the vault where abundance is stored. Everything else is just noise. And here's the divine truth. As you believe, so shall it be done unto you. So ask yourself, once and for all, what do I truly believe I deserve? Because the answer to that is your true net worth. So now you know the truth. Money was never just paper or coins or numbers flickering on a screen. Money is energy, and energy is spiritual. For centuries, the elites have guarded this secret like a sacred scroll. They built systems, institutions, and entire religions to keep it hidden. They convinced you that money is evil, that poverty is holy, that wanting more is greedy, all while they quietly learned to command energy and shape reality itself. Because whoever masters energy masters money, and whoever masters money shapes the world. But here's what they didn't count on: that you'd wake up, that you'd start to question every belief they planted in your mind, that you'd look at the system and whisper, "This isn't real." Because once you understand the spiritual game, you're no longer easy to control. You stop hustling for scraps. You stop begging for raises. You stop shrinking to fit into small boxes built by small minds. Instead, you begin to create. Because abundance isn't reserved for the chosen few. It was never meant to belong only to kings or priests or billionaires. It's the language of God, written into the blueprint of the universe. Look around you. Rivers overflow. Stars burn with infinite light. Trees bear fruit far beyond what any creature could eat. The universe was designed in overflow, and so were you. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Psalm 24:1. The question isn't whether abundance is real. It's whether you're ready to claim it. So ask yourself, will I keep playing the game they programmed me to play? Or will I finally step into my true power? Because one choice leads to a life of quiet desperation, and the other leads to a life beyond your wildest imagination. So here's the challenge. Will you hide in the shadows of false beliefs, or will you become the creator of your own reality? Because abundance isn't a privilege, it's your birthright, and the time to claim it is now.